So what we need to do, and it exactly goes to your question, we need to reset the conditions under which the product is consumed, right? Or interacted with. Have you guys ever heard this term, anchoring? So, anchoring is a very simple term that basically means exactly what you think. It's an anchor, right? It's a point of reference, okay? Like I said, the solutions would be marketing solutions, which means they're psychological solutions. They're not practical ones, right? We have to hack the customer to think one very important thing. Diamond is firm, right? So, what anchoring does, it's basically a way, remember before lab-grown diamonds, long time ago, right? When you would show them a natural, where would you start? At the most expensive diamond you had in the store. Why? You did it because you created an anchor. That was your comparison, that was your baseline. So everything you showed after was cheaper. So it looked like it was a better value. Again, value being a very, very relative term, right? So anchoring does just that. When you read about anchoring, by the way, it's not just related to the price, right? They always give this example, like if you're in a corporate setting and there is a problem and there's, let's say, 20 people in the room, right? And the problem needs to be solved and they want it solved. You know, we need suggestions. And then there is one, dumbass who suggests something asinine. That whole meeting is now gone. Why? Because that dumbass solution became the anchor, and everything after that becomes iteration of that solution, because our mind doesn't just say, take it, throw it away, this is stupid, let's do something else. It's just how we wired, okay? So, I'll give you an example of that. You guys familiar with a company called Rolls-Royce, correct? Rolls-Royce stopped exhibiting at car shows well over a decade ago. Maserati did the same, by the way. They just restarted, but Rolls-Royce does not. There's no car show I've ever gone to in New York that there was Rolls-Royce on display. Okay? Why? It's the most expensive car there, right? So even if you sat in a Range Rover, fully loaded Range Rover at $150,000, that $300,000 car never made any sense. The seats are not softer, right? It's not any warmer, it doesn't drive any faster, why would I get it? Okay? So what they did over a decade ago, they started exhibiting at two places. Private airplane shows and yacht shows. Okay? You know, something happened to a human being when you spend a whole day looking at a $10 million Sunseeker yacht or a $50 million Learjet. When you walk past Rolls-Royce, and you didn't buy one, by the way, right? And you walk past Rolls-Royce and you go, well, that's just an impulse purchase. It's only 300 grand. And it works. All they did is they changed the anchor, okay? So again, think about what happens in your store. If I walk in and I'm able to navigate myself to a beautiful display full of big sparkling rocks, and I look at a 2 carat, probably I look at the 4, right? And I look at it and I say, okay, how much is that one? And and your sales associate takes it out and they said it's a 2 carat HVDS for $4,000. Can I do my job or no? You're done. You can, even if consumer has more money to spend, how do you get it out of him? You just created that anchor. Anything over $4,000 psychologically will always feel expensive. So you have to change those conditions, okay? So, what do you have to do? You have to change the choice architecture within your store, okay? It's a made-up word, I made it up, it may be true or not true. And I'll tell you that this is done to you every day, okay? The choices you make that you seemingly think you make on your free will, you don't. I'm gonna give you an example right now, okay? We're all gonna go to a restaurant together, okay? A nice restaurant. But before we go to the restaurant, we're going to put ourselves for a second in the shoes of a person who owns it. And we're going to, and you guys are going to tell me one thing. When you go to, if I own the restaurant, if you own the restaurant, what is the one thing you want every customer to buy in your restaurant? Correct. What would that be?
Alcohol.
Bingo. Which one?
Wine.
Bingo. Okay, so we got it. Easy. All right. So we walk in the restaurant, we sit down, look around. What's on the table? Right in front of you, right past your plate. There are glasses. There's 2 glasses. Correct. Always a wine glass. Not a scotch glass, right? Not a martini glass. Always a wine glass, okay? You all sit down. Now imagine it's more than 2 people, okay? You all sit down, waiter comes in, sets in the middle of the table a menu. How many menus does he put? The first one? One. What's the menu called? One. It's not a drinks list, never. They always call it a wine list, even though, you know, once you get through 17 pages of wine, there's that sorting list in the back with spirits. It is there. But it is wine list, right? Then one person usually takes the wine list, right? Either the one who thinks they know wine or the one who foots the bill, right? Then look up and they do the best thing ever, okay? They ask you one question. You know what the question is?
Red or white?
Perfect, red or white. By the way, they do the same thing with water. You know what they make you forget? That there is tap. What do they ask you? Still a sparkling. You took away the choice you don't want them to have. So look, you're in a restaurant for 10 minutes. They haven't sold you seemingly anything, right? Now, red or white, they look up, they get 2 answers back, usually. There's a third one also, but 2 most common ones that I've seen is this. Somebody picks a color, easy one. Then there is me. You know what? I'll have a martini, but I'll have a glass with dinner. That's 2, right? Bottle of wine is sold. Okay? So no matter what, they've already put you in a situation where the most profitable item in the restaurant is sold. Now, why is wine profitable? There's 2 reasons. And why is wine presented that way and can be? Wine is the only drink you can share. Okay? When I practiced this, by the way, with my wife, her answer was tequila bombs, I think, so it's not an appropriate answer here, but wine is the only drink you can share, right? So the other thing, wine has no anchor, 0. Is anybody here either a scotch or a bourbon drinker? Perfect. What's your favorite bourbon?
What's the bid?
How much is the bottle?
Depends on what I'm buying. 250?
250. Perfect. How much would you pay for a shot until you won't pay for a shot? You don't care where you are.
Depends on my mood.
I understand, but if somebody tells you 250 for a shot, you won't pay it, correct?
No, 250 no.
Correct. Because you have an anchor, because you know exactly how much the bottle is. The same way a Scotch drinker knows how much is 18-year-old Glenfiddich if that's their drink of choice. They have a definitive anchor. So they will give me, as a business owner, a little bit of a premium, right? For the ambience. And if it's Las Vegas, right, they'll give me 7 times for the ambience, right? But no matter what, at a certain point, that anchor will tell me, have you lost your mind? In wine, that doesn't exist. Why? Because nobody knows wine. So because nobody knows wine, I can take a $15 bottle of wine, right, and sell it for 100. Matter of fact, wine also has a very interesting psychological relationship with price. So if I was a wine drinker, I'm heading home, my wife tells me, we're gonna have dinner, pick up wine on the way. It's Wednesday night. What's dinner? $15. Correct? $15 wine will do. It's Wednesday night. Now I'm heading home, it's my anniversary. It's Wednesday night. What do I buy? $100 bottle of wine. Why? What changed? Nothing. Emotion. Right? A $15 wine is fitting to a Wednesday dinner. A $100 wine, what does it fit? It fit anniversary dinner, right? How is that different than a diamond, really? Right? So, but wait, we still forgot about one person at the table. And that is the person who does not drink wine no matter what. Well, we have full bar, sir. No problem. Let's look at the bar. Let's pick whatever you like. Now, how many of you have ever referred to a lab-grown diamond as champagne taste on the beer budget? You see where I'm going with this. Where's the beer? Where's the beer? Here. There's no beer. Where's the beer? Under the counter, right? Hopefully in the refrigerator. But it's under the counter. Why? Because it's high margin, but low dollar profit. And most people, if they want a beer, they know everybody has a beer. So the effort is not made on beer. It's there. You get it. You don't want it. I'm going to put in front of you everything I want to sell you, And I don't feel bad about it. And I will tell you it works. You know why? Because many of you here have gone to the restaurant multiple times. Have you ever not seen somebody trying to sell you wine in this way? No. Why? Because it works. The other thing relating to that, and it's another psychological technique, it's called framing. Okay? Again, I'm going to give you a fun example. I tried to make this as fun as I could be. How many of you own an espresso machine? Oh, there we go. All right. So, if I were to take the coffee content of each Nespresso pod and put it in a jar, okay? The equivalent at the lowest would probably be, so like if you compare it to like Folgers, right, or whatever, easily $40 to $50 a jar, okay? But guess what? They reframe everything. One, does it come in a jar? No. What does it come with? What does it come in? A pod, correct? So your frame of reference all of a sudden changed. So what is your new anchor? You're not comparing that to Folgers. What do you compare your Nespresso to? Correct. Starbucks. This pod is $2, Starbucks $5, correct? This machine is making you money. Nothing changed. Product hasn't changed. The only thing that changed is how they packaged and presented it to you. And you buy into this every day. I'm going to ask this is probably going to be a risky question. How many of you own a Dyson vacuum cleaner? Oh, we go. How about Dyson hair dryer? I obviously don't know. There you go, we got one in the back. You tell me whose business idea was it to make a $700 hair dryer? Or $500? $700? Yep, there we go. Right? $700 hair dryer and like $7,000 to $1,000 vacuum cleaner. Who wanted a cool vacuum cleaner? Apparently there's enough people, right? So you have to start thinking of everything creatively. That's what I told you. Forget about logic, right? I am very bad at dancing, and probably the best line I've ever been given about dancing was free your mind and your ass will follow. You literally need to do that when it comes to diamonds. Okay, so in the same manner, so let's talk about diamonds, right? We psychologically believe that anything that's very complex is automatically better. You know how they market watches to you? Perpetual calendar, tourbillon, whatever. I don't know what they do, it's still 12 o'clock, right? But there's people to whom it matters, and the more complicated they are, the more we think they're better. You can frame the product that way, right? So think about it this way. If lab-grown diamond, right, is easy to produce, infinitely replicable, versus a natural diamond that is a product of complex natural processes, each one is absolutely unique, right? There's a way to romance this and set this up. Just have to do it. You have to reframe the conversation. So that anchoring and framing has to happen at the same time, and one of the way, again, to do it, we believe, and I worked with retailers last year that we did it and it worked, is basically not to have a lab-grown diamond, loose lab-grown diamond, in your showcase. Period, end of story. Yeah, so you actually know somebody who did this. Two, probably. But the truth is, it needs to be there just like beer. It's there, we can, look, most of you guys used to have I2 solitaire programs, remember those? Last line of defense, where you had to smile and say $29.99 KLI2, right? That's the equivalent of that. You don't advertise it, you don't push it, it sits somewhere in the back, okay?